Thank you for joining our webcast, The Power to Grow a Practice. I'm Eric. I'll be your moderator today. Today's webcast should run about 20 minutes. We'll leave some time at the end to answer any questions you might have. During the webcast, everyone's phone is going to be on mute, so if you have a question, please enter that question in the question box of your control panel. You should see that on the right side of your screen. Today you're going to be hearing from two great speakers, Jennifer Barones, one of CareCap's top consultants in the area of using better payment options to increase treatment acceptance and patient satisfaction. You'll also hear from our featured speaker, Dr. Dave Richardson, practice owner of Kirkland Dentistry. Dr. Richardson has over 30 years of preventative and dental restoration experience. He's well known for both having a progressive and a very customer-focused practice. We're going to cover three key topics today. First, an overview on the changes in the way your patients spend and manage their money today, and how that impacts changes your dental practice. Next, we'll hear directly from Dr. Dave Richardson on how these changes have directly impacted Kirkland Dentistry. Finally, we'll spend some time exploring the solution Dr. Dave selected to keep Kirkland Dentistry accessible to his patients. At this point, I'd like to hand it over to Jennifer to discuss changes in patient spending.
Well, thank you so much, Eric, and thank you all for taking the time out of your busy schedules to join us today. You know, it seems like more than ever we are running at Mach speed just to keep up with the demands of our daily busy schedules. And not only are we busy, but we are getting stuck doing the same things over and over again. And in the midst of all the busyness, monotony, and just to keep up with the status quo, we're overlooking changes that are happening all around us. And then by not recognizing and actually taking the time to understand these changes and why they're even happening, we are missing out on valuable opportunities within our business. And I'd like to share with you what some of these changes are. Now, these stats continue to validate why I love consulting with businesses on payment options and case acceptance, to really better understand the financial landscape of many Americans, created a deep passion to figure out how to better help people get the services they want or need, and for the businesses who provide them. The first stat reflects the results of a study conducted by the Federal Reserve showing that 47% of Americans don't have enough money to cover an unexpected expense of $400. This number indicates that cost may be a big barrier for your patients to pay for needed dental services. As an example, let's consider a family of 4 without dental insurance. Just to receive the basic preventative dental care, their dental bill already exceeds $400. Well, what happens if one of the kids needs a filling or two, or if mom needs a new crown? Now consider a large and growing sector of your patient demographic, the millennials. Did you know that 63% of millennials do not have a credit card, and their average FICO score is a 628? As the millennials change, you are going to see more and more visit your practice. So now with the combination of them not having credit cards or using credit cards, their credit score being 628, limits their ability to get services they need and also may rule out traditional third-party financing. So think about these millennials. These young adults are transitioning from being on their parents' tab to now being on their own. How are they going to pay for dental care without credit or the financial ability to absorb a $400 expense? So your ability to grow or just to even sustain your business in the future may depend on today's millennials. So you've got to look at other payment options to be able to serve them. So here are a few headlines on the why people are managing their money differently. And it isn't that people do not have money or that they cannot make a payment, it's just they pay differently now. The traditional means that many of us used to live by are no longer a trusted source. People just do not trust banks like they used to. And the millennials are not using credit cards. People are paying differently because we have grown to expect to pay electronically for the convenience and efficiency that paying online provides. So when was the last time you wrote a check for your annual gym membership? Or remember the day when you had to buy the entire album to listen to your favorite song? Oh yes, those days did exist, but can you imagine doing that today? So these headlines further emphasize the importance of the relationship between the dentist and their patients, and why so many dentists are moving from offering traditional financing to now offering in-house payment plans. You know, in a perfect world, wouldn't it be great if past success was a guarantee for future success? Well, the reality is that's just not the case. It is vital to your future success to be open to the new ideas and the changes that are taking place. Because if you don't, chances are your competitors and patients will. Here's a great quote I'd like to share that helps sum up some of those thoughts. And that is, the price of doing the same old thing is far higher than the price of change. So from here, I'd like to introduce our special guest, Dr. Dave Richardson. He is going to share his story about how he and Kirkland Dentistry are adapting to the change and seeing happier patients because of it. Welcome, Dr. Richardson.
Thanks, Jennifer and Eric. I appreciate being here, and I really will enjoy sharing some of our successes with other dentists. A little bit about me and my practice. We've been serving the same community in Kirkland, Washington since the early 80s. I'm a solo practitioner. We have 5 operatories, 2 full-time hygienists, 2 assistants, and administrative staff. Our mission is to provide our patients with a really pleasant dental experience, and while at the same time offering the most technology-advanced dental services available.
Fantastic. Dr. Richardson, what problems were you looking to solve when you brought CareCap into your practice?
Well, we basically had 3 issues. And the first, just like most dental practices, we had a very large pile of past due receivables. And these are receivables that my staff have repeatedly mailed out statements for, made phone calls to collect, and generally speaking, the patients would stop paying over time. And they were very non-responsive to our efforts. And secondly, we found ourselves doing treatment plans on patients who wanted to schedule for treatment but just didn't do it because of the cost. And lastly, I wanted to replace CareCredit with a better solution. CareCredit was just costing my practice a ton of money. They had very high discount rates. They were costing us in patients too. And most of my patients hated doing business with CareCredit. Many of them didn't qualify, and some that did ended up paying very high interest rates. And so while it sounds good to get your money up front, it was very expensive. It was very expensive for my bottom line, and it was very costly in patient satisfaction. And it just was costing the patients way too much money.
Understood. So why did you end up choosing CareCap?
We looked at lots of payment collection solutions, and we ended up with CareCap, and we used CareCap to offer our past due patient payment plans instead of sending them to collections. More of our patients scheduled treatment because of CareCap, and it gave them an easy way to pay for the care, and I was really happy to offer CareCap payment plans as a way to collect all of my fees undiscounted. And fundamentally, CareCap meets the needs of our business model. We wanted a payment option solution that really gave us flexibility to meet the needs of all of our patients. And this means flexible terms, control over who is accepted or declined. We basically want a solution that gives us the power to be able to work with anyone we choose to. And CareCap really offered the best payment options available.
Great. Dr. Richardson, could you speak to the effects CareCap has had on your bottom line?
Well, the size of the impact really surprised me. I expected to have more patients schedule treatment because we now offered an easy way to pay. But when we measured all of 2014, the numbers were amazing. My production went up over $113,000 as a direct result of having CareCap available. We had tremendous success in recovering past due ARs too. At the end of 2013, we were going to send 22 patients to collections. Instead, we said, well, let's just offer them CareCap payment plans, and because we could structure tailored automatic plans for each of them, 21 of these 22 patients opted in, and we recovered about $34,500 out of $35,000. This is money that was going to collections that we would lose, collecting 50%. And these patients all reactivated and now are some of my best patients and referrers going forward. So CareCap really, it helps us treat more patients. Our percentage of overhead went down. It's down to 45% now. It was around between 55-60% at the time. And a number of the factors really influence the reduction in overhead, but one of the primary ones is the fact that we're not taking such big discounts with CareCredit. And in addition, my staff expenses went down as my front desk spent more time calling patients or not calling patients, work for mailing statements and that sort of thing. So we fully incorporated CareCap into our daily routine. Now patients either pay their portion on full on date of service or they go on CareCap. It's that simple. And there's no need to have any other options. It just works for everybody.
Nice. Those are some pretty impressive results. Now, Dr. Richardson, would you like to share 2 or 3 key thoughts or pieces of advice to the webcast attendees?
Yeah, sure. And the most important thing for me that I can tell people is just don't get stuck in a rut. Change is good, and don't keep doing things just because that's the way you've always done it. You really have to use current technology to make your life easier. For us, trying to manually manage payment plans in my office just didn't work, and unfortunately, it took me about 30 years to figure it out. My accounts receivables were well over $280,000. We were sending out 250 statements plus per month. Now my receivables are down to whatever outstanding insurance payments are, and we don't send out statements anymore. And change has really affected the dental industry and my practice in many ways. And for example, here in Seattle area, the insurance companies, the primary one, cut our fees by 35%, and they're thinking about taking another 10% off. And then CareCredit would charge a 10-15% upfront fee. And it was just putting a tremendous squeeze on our bottom line. I also remember making the jump from a paper appointment book to computers and going to digital x-rays. It was very nerve-wracking at the time, but change is good, and I would never go back. And the technology with CareCap is just this good. The bottom line that our patients can get the care they need, and we receive full payment, and that's the perfect scenario, and that's the environment that CareCap has created at my practice.
That is so fantastic. I really, really appreciate you being here with us today, Dr. Richardson. Thank you for being so candid and sharing your experience with us, and really congratulations to you and your staff on all of your success. So now let's take a moment and redirect and talk about the solution Dr. Richardson chose. Our mission here at CareCap is very simple. Life Made Affordable is both our moniker and mission. Both expected and unexpected expenses add up quickly, and our belief is that there should be a better way to fit expenses into your budget while also improving the relationship between businesses and customers. So when that patient comes in and needs a crown, now you can provide them with the care they need that fits within their budget. So CareCap, it's an easy, non-disruptive way to manage and automate your in-house payment plans. Our web-based application is simple to use whether you choose to offer payment plans or other functionalities our system offers, such as Pay Now or e-invoice, just to name a few. Our system is HIPAA compliant, and we're also compliant in all state and federal lending laws. So you and your patients can have peace of mind that all payments and personal information are kept private, compliant, and secure. I'd like to explain how CareCap works, and just to give you an example, let's say a patient finds out that she needs a crown when it's going to cost her about $1,200. Your patient says, oh my goodness, I don't have $1,200 right now. So with CareCap available, your front desk can simply say, no worries, we can help you with that. we work with a company called CareCap that fully manages and automates our in-house payment plans for both of us, easily and affordably. Each month, on a day convenient for you, CareCap will withdraw your payment out of either your checking account, debit credit, credit card, or even HSA account and sends it directly to us. Your patient is then relieved. You take a moment to decide on terms that work best for your office's best practice and for the patient. So in this example, the office will collect a down payment of $400, with the remaining $800 balance going on their CareCap contract. The patient would like their monthly payment to be around $200, so a 4-month term is set. The front desk will add the payment plan online. No application, no approval process, no waiting. It's literally done in 4 simple steps. CareCap sends the patient also a friendly email reminder just 3 days prior to each payment withdrawal. And CareCap also tracks and reports all transactions for your practice. This is just one example, but I think it gives you a great overview on how CareCap works. There are so many different scenarios and how you can use CareCap in your practice. Clearly, we want to help people say yes. Think about the example of our crown patient. They need care and will choose a practice that gives them affordable payment options. You know, another common use of CareCap is to reduce time and the expense in managing receivables. And as Dr. Richardson mentioned, since they started using CareCap, they no longer manage receivables at all, period. Patients pay at time of service, and if they cannot pay by cash or credit card, they're on CareCap. And they've incorporated this into their financial policy and overall best practices. So offices are also using CareCap as an alternative to traditional collections. Offering a payment plan is a far better option for you than sending a patient to collections. You recover the revenue and retain the patient's relationship. This also takes me back to what Dr. Richardson said about how many of his patients reactivated, and now some of them are his best referrers. CareCap is also a great alternative when your patient is declined or has their own reason why they do not want to use third-party financing. And just because a third-party financing company declines your patient does not mean they do not have the financial means to make the monthly payment. Not everybody fits into their third-party lending guidelines. CareCap's solution is a true win-win for all parties involved. Your patients win, they receive the services they want or need at an affordable monthly payment. You win by closing more business, and your practice administrator's life becomes a whole lot easier by eliminating the burden of calling and collecting and waiting for a patient to make a payment. CareCap helps promote loyalty and patient retention. Keeping that relationship in-house rather than selling it to a third party creates a stronger relationship and increases referral business. So from here, I'd like to open the floor up to your questions, and Dr. Dave and I would love to answer them as they come in.
Thanks, Jennifer. As we begin the Q&A portion of this webcast, please continue to enter any questions you might have into the question box in your control panel. We're going to start with the questions that have come in during the session, and then we're going to continue to answer as many as we can during our allotted time. First question looks like it's for you, Dr. Dave. I'm a periodontist. Do you know of any specialists that use CareCap?
Absolutely. I have a number of specialist friends that use CareCap. A lot of times everybody knows their services are very expensive, and CareCap helps them provide care for their patients.
Great. Next question. This one's probably going to be best for you, Jennifer. How much does it cost? How much does CareCap cost?
Okay, yes, great. Thank you. Yes, great question. There are no startup costs to have CareCap in your practice, and there are no monthly subscription fees for you either. There is only one CareCap fee, and the patient pays it. It is a 1% monthly management fee on their outstanding balance. Now, CareCap will also net settle your 3% merchant cost on each transaction to cover all the bank and credit card fees that are incurred on your behalf. So you can see it's very affordable for both practice and patients that brings significant upside to your practice's bottom line.
Great. Thank you, Jennifer. This next question here, what is the difference between CareCap and CareCredit? Dr. Dave, do you want to take that one, and then Jennifer, maybe you can add any thoughts you might have as well?
Sure. Well, the main difference, everybody knows CareCredit, you get some of your money up front, but at a huge discount. With CareCap, we get all of our revenues over time from more patients, and simply the patients can pay for their care with CareCap. The more patients can pay with CareCap, they can with CareCredit, and that's why my production went up 113,000 last year when we made the switch. With CareCap, we control our patient relationship from treatment through payment. When you sell your accounts to CareCredit, you forfeit control, and you really can't protect your patient or respond to their changing needs anymore.
That's great, Dr. Dave. Yes, I'd like to chime in a little bit on that as well. Oftentimes people get confused because, you know, with CareCap, we are not considered credit. We are not a bank. So you get to keep your receivable in-house, and CareCap manages the entire process for you. Just as Dr. Dave noted, you have full control. You get to extend CareCap to whomever you want with less fees, customizable payment plans. And one thing that we pride ourselves on here at CareCap is that we have transparency. We're big on transparency with our practices and their patients. And our level of customer service is stellar, and the support is really like no other out there.
This looks like it's likely a follow-on question. The follow-on question was, what happens if someone doesn't pay? Dr. Dave, do you have any experience or thoughts around your experiences there?
It doesn't happen very often. I mean, if a transaction does fail, CareCap automatically follows up on it. And our default rate last year was, I believe, 1.69%, so very low.
Well, and again, if you don't mind, I'd like to chime in and add a little bit more to that. You know, CareCap was actually designed to mitigate risk, and we do that in a few ways. Number one, your down payment. Always collect a down payment that covers your hard cost, okay? Number two, the CareCap system allows you to store two forms of payment methods, okay? So if we are unable to collect on your patient's primary payment method, we will go to the second payment method. And then number three, with CareCap, we have a very impressive automated email system that communicates with your patients. We send a friendly reminder 3 days prior to when their payment is due. And if we're unable to collect on the first primary payment method, we'll go to the second. And if we're still unable to collect, we will send the patient a series of emails and phone calls, really just to help get them back on track. And you know, you are always copied on the emails that we send out to your patients, just to keep you in the loop as to what's going on. But to let you know, at CareCap, we do not change the terms of a patient's contract without your approval.
Thanks, Jennifer. This next question, how long did it take to learn how to use CareCap? Jennifer, can you start by answering that question with a little bit of background on how the CareCap process works from sign up to training? And then Dr. Dave, can you follow on with your experiences through Kirkland Dentistry and how the learning process went for you and your team?
You bet. I'm happy to start that off, Eric. So first of all, to sign up for CareCap, again, no cost. You just sign up on our website at www.carecap.com. You fill out some real basic information. Within 24 hours, which we are actually even less than 24 hours, but our customer success team will go ahead and reach out to you and schedule a time that's convenient for you and your staff to train you on the CareCap system. All this is done online via join.me, and it doesn't take very long, maybe 30 minutes, if that. And so our customer success team, their primary mission is to give you the most stellar customer service for you and your patients. And so their mission is just to continue to provide you with ongoing support. So very, very easy and fast.
Yeah, I'll add that it really is a no-brainer. I remember my first thought was it can't be this easy, and it really is. I signed up online, filled out my name, contact info. My front desk spoke with CareCap for a few minutes. They got a patient signed up with a treatment plan, and it took about 30 minutes. It's super easy, and it's amazing.
Great. Next question. I think this is one for you again, Dr. Dave. How do you decide when to offer a payment plan?
Well, our mission is to serve everybody, and if one of our patients needs a payment plan, then we accommodate them. We make sure, like Jennifer said, we collect the down payment to cover our hard costs, though, and so depending on the treatment plan, we may ask for more or less down payment, and that model has worked well for us.
Thank you, Dr. Dave. We're getting close to our allotted time here, but there's one more question that looked like an interesting one I thought I'd ask you on our attendees' behalf. What's the one feature in CareCap that you think is the best?
Well, there's a lot to it, but I think the main thing is just how flexible that it can be to meet the changing needs of the patients. It's what they really like. And I have a story I can share with you. Last year, one of my patients had quite a bit of work done. He was on a CareCap payment plan, and he was paying around $350 a month. He was in a car accident, called our office in a panic because he couldn't work and was applying for disability. And he asked if we could reduce his payments to $50 a month for 3 months while he waited for the disability to kick in. And so we said, sure. And really with a few clicks online at CareCap, we revised his contract to $50 a month. And 90 days later, he called to say it was always good, and he could go back to $350 a month. So with a couple more clicks, he was back to $350. And he agreed to extend his contract by a month to cover the remaining balance, and all was good. So it's very good. I have had people give me hugs and start crying when we offered them CareCap as a solution for payment. So it's a very good thing.
That's great. It looks like we're running up against our allotted time, so I definitely want to be respectful for everyone's time here. So at this point, I'd like to give a big thank you to both Jennifer and Dr. Richardson for speaking today. I also want to thank everyone who attended our webcast. Any questions that we didn't get to, we'll have people follow up with you directly after this webcast. And again, if you'd like to learn more about CareCap, please visit carecap.com. So again, thanks everyone for joining us, and have a great weekend.